coming out and just telling people what happened to you, it's the most difficult thing because everybody will actually look at you differently, separate you from the rest of the community. There are 4 of them. So there's no way I could even run away if I wanted to. And then he got out a gun and told me, if you don't do what I'm asking you to do, then I'll shoot you. I didn't have a choice. He ended up raping me. The whole world kind of went into a standstill. It got all dark. I couldn't cry, I couldn't, even throwing up, I couldn't do anything because it went pitch black.
Malheureusement pour moi, la première victime que j'avais, la première personne que j'avais soignée, ce n'était pas une femme enceinte. C'était une femme qui avait été violée à 500 mètres de l'hôpital. Et après avoir été violée, on a tiré dessus. Mais elle était venue avec le fémur, le bassin fracassé. Et c'est au cours des soins qu'elle va nous raconter son calvaire, comment elle a été violée par les hommes en armes. J'ai vu beaucoup de souffrances dues à la guerre. J'avais vu beaucoup d'atrocités, de ces viols qui se font de façon épidémique dans la région des Grands Lacs, dues à la guerre. Et voilà une histoire imprévue qui est venue entrer dans ma vie. Est-ce qu'on va se professionnaliser? Et d'un seul coup, je me trouve aujourd'hui à me battre contre la violence qui est faite aux femmes, une violence sans nom, une violence qui est tout à fait délibérée, qui s'accompagne avec des tortures, des brûlures, des blessures au niveau de l'appareil génital.
When survivors actually come forward and want to seek some sort of justice for the crimes they've experienced, oftentimes the judicial system that exists in their communities fail them. But over the last 15 to 20 years, there's been a growing recognition that those who engage and perpetrate sexual violence must be held to account. And a legal system that works increases the sense within the community that sexual violence is not okay, and creates the sense of accountability within a community. That's really where Physicians for Human Rights steps in. For years, PHR has been working in conflict and post-conflict situations on human rights abuses, of which sexual violence has been very prevalent.
There is a critical gap in the local efforts to prosecute sexual violence. There is not an adequate team that combines doctors, lawyers, police, and judges to achieve justice in the courts.
The major challenge is the systems right from the grassroots up to the judicial system.
We are ignorant of what our other colleagues in other departments are doing, yet we are working with them towards bringing justice to these sexual offense victims.
Nous sommes dans une zone de guerre. On élabore le certificat médical, mais très souvent les victimes n'obtiennent pas justice.
Le problème principal auquel on est confronté, c'est le problème de l'administration de la preuve. Donc, il fallait qu'on se mette d'accord entre les acteurs pour voir comment lever toutes ces barrières-là.
Okay, good morning, everybody. To address some of these critical issues, Physicians for Human Rights developed the Program on Sexual Violence in Conflict Zones.
What are some of the consequences that we talk about of the impact?
We bring members from the health community, including doctors, nurses, social workers, psychotrauma counselors, police officers, lawyers, magistrates, and judges, all together in one room for 3 or 4 days at a time.
Et après, maintenant, généralement, j'appelle laboratoire.
These trainings often represent the first time that these stakeholders have the opportunity to meet and talk to their counterparts from other sectors. Our goal is to help stakeholders collect, document, and preserve evidence of sexual violence to help improve local prosecutions for these crimes. How can we, in fact, build accountability and address impunity for these crimes if we are missing adequate evidence to sufficiently push these cases forward?
Je pense que notre action avec Piacere, c'est une action qui est très très importante maintenant et même à long terme pour montrer la volonté de la communauté, la volonté de l'État de ne pas accepter des actes de barbarie comme ça sur le corps, pas plus.
So Joanne, tell me what happened.
They just threw me down.
Yes.
Role-playing is a really effective tool for instruction. It forces people to recognize the challenges in these incredibly sensitive and delicate cases.
They raped me, all of them.
Evidence is first collected when a survivor comes forward and has the courage to tell their story.
The police officers, they will get the evidence if there's any that I collect.
And it's critical to document evidence found all over the body.
So this is the labia majora.
Ça, c'est la grande lèvre.
So tell us what you see.
When a medical doctor comes to court, they would then start speaking their medical jargon. I wouldn't understand what that means.
Just behind the uterus, you have the intestines, the rectum.
Now I'm able to understand exactly what the doctor's report is talking about. So it's easier for me now to decide a case.
Our biggest problem is collection of evidence.
Is there evidence that will ultimately lead to a conviction?
So now I've collected some evidence and I need to preserve it. How do I preserve evidence? These are chain of custody forms. Where did this evidence travel? I introduced the concepts to both the medical side and the police side because they're the ones that are actually collecting the evidence. And it's also critical that the magistrates and the prosecutors are in the room to hear these techniques too so that they have a better understanding of the challenges that they have to face.
With the PHR training, we have seen how that evidence is collected, how they are stored, how the police will share the evidence with public prosecutors. I have learned so much.
They did a beautiful job on chain of custody. Yeah. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay.
The participants in the room, they are professionals who work very hard to help survivors. but it comes at a cost.
When the robbers came, they put the three of them in a room. The boy was forced to have sex with the mother. I had to listen to that evidence, and I could not imagine we have people who can do that.
They see and hear horrible stories every day. As a result, they all experience an enormous amount of trauma.
So sometimes you sit in court and they say this man, and for a moment you have to pray. Yeah. Say, just give me strength because I'll kill this guy.
Many stakeholders come to the meetings with preconceived ideas about their counterparts from other sectors.
You may be talking to a police officer. They have been trained to intimidate.
And it's not uncommon for colleagues to come to the trainings with very negative attitudes towards the police.
I'm one of those police officers.
After a disparaging comment about the police, a police officer shared a harrowing story about his own personal trauma.
When I was in Mandera, I encountered something which has affected me until this time. These guys, they took us to a distance of 50 kilometers, told us we want your uniform, and they stripped us naked.
It explained in such graphic detail the kind of threat and risk the police have to go through every day, and it immediately humanized him.
Madam has said that we are trained to intimidate. Us also, we are also being intimidated.
Mm-hmm. In my dealings with the police, I've had a negative attitude towards the police, but today I had the opportunity to sit with them. I realized that they are also human beings, and most of them are good. They are good citizens.
This is exactly what the training seeks to get at, an opportunity for that kind of frustration to get aired. That kind of openness and frankness is critical for any one of these professionals to move forward in a collaborative way.
Now I know what the police go through, I know what the judiciary need in my reports. When a situation arises, I know who to call.
So basically we are going to work as brothers and sisters.
Whatever seemed impossible now looks possible and practical. We can actually make it better and easier for victims to access justice.
And now we're just at the time when we're starting to see actual, successful local prosecutions. We're at a pivotal moment in the effort to stop sexual violence and conflict. Finally, there's international attention. There's starting to be funding and support for justice systems.
Notre pays, le Congo, et là, il y a beaucoup de victimes de violences sexuelles. Mais maintenant, comme nous avons un nouveau modèle, et nous allons aussi bien travailler.
The PHR training has given us hope.
C'est une chaîne.
Magoma Kennedy.
Médecin.
David Barassa.
OPJ. Magistrat. C'est une première, c'est excellent.
What I'm looking at in the future, we will produce that evidence in court and ultimately get convictions. The country will have a sense of justice.
We are learning, we are sharing, we are working in solidarity.
The training is a stepping stone, a launching pad for building long-term sustainable relationships between and among stakeholders. But the important work happens after the trainings.
I'm a survivor of sexual violence, and I know what a person goes through. I appreciate what Physicians for Human Rights is doing. We actually need this to happen for survivors seeking justice. You change a community because you've changed one person.